What is up, all you GBA type fans? This is Tom. I'm here bringing you guys week 10 of the GBA. Whoops, almost forgot for a second. But this week, we take on Nick. Now, this battle is super fucking late. To give you perspective, it is currently almost 5 o'clock here on the East Coast. And Nick and I battled at 1 o'clock. This match was the match from hell. I will explain once we get to the battle, but specifically trying to get this match done throughout the course of last week. Nick was just getting internet, and he had requested earlier in the week, like, hey, can we battle on Friday or Saturday? Sure, it's no problem. Well, Friday happened. I believe that I worked, and he was still getting his internet figured out. And then on Saturday, he nor I could find Jenners to get our stuff made, right? So Sunday happened. We battled prior to me going to work. Then we DC'd. So we said, you know what? After work, I'll get back. We'll battle. I was up the night before that until like 4 a.m. That's no problem. I could stay up. We could battle. Everything will be dandy, right? Nope, that's not how it works. Because then when Sunday actually happened, to get home, had to stay at work for a bit. Had to do some reports. Then Monday happens, and I was like, you know what? We gotta get this done. Our DC already happened. We have a script to follow. We can follow that. You'll see that in the battle getting recreated. But we have to get this battle done. So here's the team. I'm going to go very quickly through not very quickly, but going to go through the breakdown. Kind of give you the purpose of each mon. Starting off, we have Starmie. Again, very similar to last week. It's Specs with Dual Stab, Thunderbolt, and HP Ground. Now, Dual Stab, depending on if he is... if he's Spadef Skarmory and Defensive Mega Venusaur, obviously I have to pick something, whether he's going to switch or I'm going to blast something with a super effective or just a very hard-hitting move. And HP Ground is there to hit the likes of Lantern and Drapion super effectively in case he brings either, thinking I'll lock myself into a Psychic move. Excuse me. And Psychic is a better option over Size Shock because whether it's Defensive Mega Venusaur or Defensive Skarmory, Psychic does more damage to both. So that was the purpose for that. It has 244 speed. I believe that outpaces the Scarf Pangoro by 1 point. Cobalion's probably is going to follow roughly the same suit. I forgot what I was outpacing there, but sure it's not that important. Anyway, actually no, it is. Meowstic, I believe it was for. If he brought it, yes, there it is. But he has Prankster anyway, so that was kind of dumb. But next we have Cobalion, Shukaberry. This is to take an Earthquake from potentially Darmanitan, or even something like Drapion or Pangoro. Basically, and Mega Venusaur if it has Earthquake this week, because that's kind of what he would have to use for coverage. Because if he has Dual Stab, obviously Cobalion can wall it from here to Kingdom Come. And if he has Knockoff, like a Justified Boost. If he has HP Fire, should do some damage, but not that much damage. So I have Close Combat, Iron Headset, Headbutt, and Swords Dance. This is kind of a later game sweeper, or just because of its natural bulk and plus the fact that it has access to Swords Dance. I could boost up and potentially put some holes through things. Only thing that really stops me is fully defensive Skarmory, but that's if he brings that. The Iron Head is just there. It doesn't hit anything super effectively. It's just really good damage, and of course this thing doesn't learn Earthquake, so fuck. So I can't hit, Drapion or Lantern, but Close Combat does a good amount of damage. Zen Headbutt is for the Mega Venusaur, and that's pretty much it. Then we go on to Melodic, which we have a fully defensive set, because this thing's going to be taking on Darmanitan, Pangoro, and Feraligatr. Now the Scald is there to just get burns, Dragon Tail phase things around in case he wants to make switches into something like Jolteon, and that's pretty much the purpose of this Melodic set. If he does end up getting a status, whether he burns me with a Scald from something like Lantern, or he puts me to sleep, or he poisons me, obviously the residual damage would be kind of shitty, but the fact that he activates Marvel Scale then means that Darmanitan and Gator are going to have a really hard time taking me down. Next up we have this Tyrantrum set. It gave me goddamn Agita heartburn, because I could not figure out how I wanted to go about this. It was going to be Rock Head, it was going to be Dragon Claw, Head Smash, Earthquake, because that just covers all of the bases. But then we had the item and the setup move. Do I go Dragon Dance to just bash through something? Like, if he's not defensive Skarmory, Head Smash at +1 does almost 100% to a Skarmory if he's Spadef. If he's defensive, obviously +1, I'm not going to be anywhere close to one-shotting it. Obviously, it's going to be like somewhat of a 2 KO. If he is SPDF, just unboosted head smash at least 50% because this is adamant this week. But of course, nothing on his team wants to take a head smash. I have yet to even press that button this season. You know, I brought Tyrantrum 3 weeks now. No, 2 weeks now, sorry. And then if I go Rock Polish with my speed investment currently, I outpace all of his base 95s if they're scarfed. So if Kieran Black is scarfed, Darmanitan is scarfed, I outpace them both. I believe at +2 I also outpace Jolteon if it is not scarfed, it's Life Orb or something like that. So, and then Yachi Berry, that was for in case if he went for Ice Beam with Kieran Black and I'm in, or if he has HP Ice on Jolteon, or if he has Ice Punch on Gator, I could take it, go for the Rock Polish up, and then pretty much just kind of go for sweep at that point, because I have enough power to get really good damage off on things, but I also have the speed then to outpace everything else. Next up, I'll bring it back as Azteca from Dan's match. Now, this thing is going to be just as annoying as it was back when I used it against battling Dan. Psychic is there for Mega Venusaur. Heat Wave is there for Skarmory. U-Turn is there to pivot out in case he wants to make a switch into Jolteon. And Roost is there just to ensure that I don't die. It's Cobra Berry, so I don't get Pursuit Trap by Drapion or knock off Death by a Pangoro switch out. But the purpose of this is mainly just entirely to stop Mega Venusaur and Skarmory from being annoying, because Mega Venusaur, this thing is SPDF, max SPDF with a lot of HP, a little bit of defense to take Brave Birds, non-invested, or Iron Head, stuff like that. So I can take the Sludge Bombs, it's gonna do like 46%, but I can just roost out the damage, and assuming he just does that to try and get the Sludge Bomb poisons, that means the Psychic is going to go ahead and do rough. If he's defensive, it's going to do at least 40%, 44% actually. So he's going to be very hard pressed, especially because I'm faster than both Skarmory and Mega Venusaur to keep healing that stuff off. 52 speed, I forgot what that was for. I wish I did remember. But at this current second, I think it's for max invested speed Pangoro. I think. But it also might be for Lantern if he's trying to be a little cheeky and boost, or just have speed. I don't remember, but that's what that was there for. Anyway, finally we go into the SPDF Gligar, which I've brought 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now in a row, because this thing handles his Jolteon as well as handles Lantern to an extent. So I have U-Turn, pivot out, Roost, heal up. Toxic to put on something like Lantern in case it's SPDF and annoying and doesn't have Heal Bell, and Stealth Rock obviously for Stealth Rock because I'm not putting it on Tyrantrum. But no Defog because that's what his tech is there for. But this is the trifecta, the triangle if you will. So you look at Xatu, and that is specifically for Mega Venusaur and Skarmory. You have Gligar, which is specifically there for, like I said, Lantern to an extent, and Jolteon. And then you finally have Melodic, which is there for Alligator, Darmanitan, Pangoro, Drapion, all that happy shit, because that is pretty much how I need to cover all of his mons. Kieran Black, pretty much I'm going to be going into Melodic for that. Obviously, I know I can't really do that much, but if he locks himself into Fusion Bolt, it's going to do under 50%. If he goes for Earth Power Ice Beam, it's going to do, I think, a little bit less. If he specs, well, fuck me. And Yastic's not really that big of a problem. Let's see. You didn't bring Drapion. Well, Drapion, it does end up getting brought. I think I have Cobalion to pretty much handle both of its stabs, right? And then if I go for, if he has Pangoro, I think, like I said, that's what Melodic's being handled. If I'm missing a mon, I'm sorry, but this is the team I'm bringing. It's semi-blue, and I like this. I know I'm bringing like a similar Gligar set, a similar Starmie set, but the purpose of the walls is very effective, and two of which have capabilities of pivoting. And then I have 2 setup mons, being Tyrantrum and Cobalion, and a Starmie. So kind of running somewhat of the same suit as I have the past few weeks with Sawk plus Tyrantrum. This week it's Cobalion plus Tyrantrum. My special attacker is in fact Starmie. So that being said, this is the team breakdown. I'm going to go into the match now, and this is going to be a long video, guys. If you want to watch this entire thing, I appreciate it. But with that being said, let's get into the match. Alright guys, here's the match. Just to start off, right, I think, so for most of his, team, it looks like it's pretty much what I kind of expected him to bring. I didn't go into a team prediction. I had one planned, but was kind of expecting to see Drapion or Pangoro over Darmanitan. Definitely considered Jolteon. Totally considered Skarmory, Mega Venusaur, mostly because a lot of my team needs to guess 50-50 as to how effective those are going to be. For Alligator, because it's good setup sweeper, and because Water Stab's really good against my team. And Lantern, because it's annoying and bulky, but didn't really expect Meowstic. Drapion, Pangoro, like I said, over Darmanitan. And no Kyurem Black, which I was like, whoa, no Kyurem Black. Now, this initially happened over Wi-Fi, and we tried it. We got 16 turns in, and then a DC. And there was a lot of RNG. Holy shit, there was quite a bit of RNG that definitely needed to pan out and needed to go a certain way. So because of that, we came to Showdown. We tried again to get the RNG to go our way. We got to a certain turn. Some bullshit happened. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to Showdown. Then it took us about 8 tries to get Showdown correct with people watching us as spectators. So, needless to say, this goddamn match is the bane of my existence. If Nick nor I don't want to play Pokemon after this, it's because of this match. This was a goddamn hair-pulling nightmare to get finished. Now, because of that, this doesn't mean that I'm not going to try, or because it was a pain in the ass, it wasn't enjoyable. It was. I think that leading up into the DC, all the ways that we try to recreate it best we could, and then after which, I think it was a really, really good match, and I hope you'll enjoy it. So we're going to get started, as which there's going to be a lot of pausing, because I knew we're going to have story time on the side, because I need to explain what the actual turns were versus what we're going to do to attempt to recreate this game. So, I'm going to put it on slow up until we get to the point when we, after turn 16. So, starting off, I'm going to lead off with Gligar. Now, normal. So, starting off, he leads with Jolteon. He could go for Volt Switch. No, I'm going to go for Stealth Rock. He's going to go into Skarmory, and that's pretty much how we start off our first turn. Now, right there, I U-turned on the Xatu, or into Xatu, and he went for Whirlwind, and he was dragged out into Feraligatr. Now, instead of going for the U-turn, breaking the Sturdy, and then having to play with RNGesus, we just ahead and said, fuck it, just regular hard switch out for Feraligatr, and we'll take that as it comes. So I U-turn, or I just hard switch out into Xatu, because the U-turn damage on the Feraligatr on the hard switch is pretty substantial, because it's coming from a Gligar, not coming from something else that I'll explain later. But going to go into Xatu, and he is going to, well, here, then he goes for Waterfall. In the match, we double switched. I went to Melodic, he went to Lantern. That's this turn. Here, he's going to go into Lantern. I am going to go ahead and recover. Now, this is, again, we're just trying to get back into some sort of rhythm as to how the match would have went. I go for Scald, attempting to get the burn. He goes for Volt Switch, and that, it doesn't do much. Now, in the match, I went for Toxic, and I missed as he went for Volt Switch. Then, of course, he goes into Jolteon. I see the Toxic Orb activate, which means he's Quick View, which is great on Nick's part. Goes for Volt Switch. I recover, not paralyzed. But here is this next turn. I say paralyzed because this is going to happen here, where it's going to go for... I go for cover because I'm faster, but he's going to go for Thunder Wave. Now, in our match, he goes for T-Bolt, gets the para, and he gets a full para. Now, I don't get to recover there, and that... It threw me off a little bit, but during our match, it was kind of shitty, because it's the first part, you're like, oh, come on, a 10% chance on a T-Bolt, it was kind of shitty, and then of course getting the full para, kind of like what happened to Mono with his Serene Grace crit para, full para. But I'm gonna go here. I believe he goes for Scald. This is just to get damage off. In our match, we actually did have a turn where he went for the T-Bolt. I got the recover up. Then he goes for Scald. I'm going to switch to something like Gligar. Go for Toxic. I hit that one, but he does it again. I can't be status, obviously. Going to go for Toxic. Now we're back into some sort of normalcy. This is what happened in our match. This is what, we're okay with happening. Here's going to Volt Switch out into Venusaurs. I'm going to recover, or at least attempt to recover. And that is pretty much how that's going to happen. I get up back to full. The whole purpose of this block is just get up to full HP to ensure that Darmanitan and Feraligatr are somewhat checked. Going to go into Xatu, like I said, dedicated check to this Mega Venusaur. He has Sub, which means he doesn't have a coverage move, assuming he needs Dual Stab to hit things like Sylveon. But he's going to go for Sludge Bomb. Now, in our recreations, we had fucking Sludge Bomb, like, poisoned 3 or 4 times, and that didn't happen in our match. Going to go for Psychic here. This KO'd, the Toxic KO'd this Lantern here in our actual match, which is kind of shitty, but it's not the biggest deal. That was actually probably a side effect of the fact that in our match, there was another turn that Lantern stayed in, so that 6% did matter, because 6% plus a higher roll with Psychic allowed the poison damage to knock out the Lantern. Now, that kill originally was awarded to Melodic. This time it's awarded to Xatu. But going to go for Psychic, knock out the Lantern. He goes for Alligator, and here he's going to go for Waterfall. I think I'm going to stay in. Nope. Going to Melodic, fully defensive, plus Marvel Scale. He is here going to go for Dragon Dance. Now, this is getting to the end of all of our recreations that we unfortunately had to go through. He's going to go for Dragon Dance. He went for a second Dragon Dance, and I Dragon Tailed him out into Darmanitan instead of, again, fucking with RNGesus. We're just saying, you know what, we're just gonna go and you're gonna hard switch. I'm gonna recover, no damage, no harm, no foul. Now here's super weird. Right there on the U-turn going out, I got a Scald plus a burn on this Mega Venusaur. So this is going to be a little disruptive because this turn right here, he was below 40%, and I was intending on making a play at this point, and he was pretty much forced to Synthesis. Otherwise, he likely would have died, or he just would have been withered down to the point where if I switched, he would have had pretty much sacked off Mega Venusaur, which I know he doesn't want to do, especially not at this point, because hasn't seen what type of Cobalion or Tyrantrum set this is, or I have. So right here is going to be super weird. He's going to Synthesis. I am going to go for Scald, attempt to get the burn. That's the purpose right here, kind of chip him down to at least around the point where he was during the time of our DC. He's going to Synthesis. I'm going to Scald once more. Nope, just kidding. Going to get full para because that's how that works. He is then going to go for another Synthesis. He burns, so 3 syntheses during this point. Gonna get the Scald burn. That's what we were aiming for. Okay, so gonna switch out here. He's gonna go for Sludge Bomb. I'm gonna go into Cobalion. Now this part, he and I we had to kind of decide how this is gonna go. This is not happening in our regular match, but I need him below the 40% mark, because then after that we can then go ahead and go into our actual match. God damn it, dog. So here goes the Sludge Bomb as I go for the close combat under 40%. Now, this is where our match picks up. This is where our plays come in. This is where now it's free play. Go ahead, play your match. That was annoying. It took us 23 turns to simulate what happened in 16 turns, and we had to fuck around with so much RNG and bullshit. And okay, so this is what made it a nightmare. Not the DCs, the recreations. Now we're gonna go into the actual match, and hopefully, right now at this point, I think I have a good kind of hand in this match. I've gotten Mega Venusaur down pretty low. I have we've seen the quick feet on the Jolteon, and Darmanitan has switched in once already to Rocks. Skarmory is kind of a non-issue as long as Xatu's around. And for Alligator, I've seen two of his moves, plus he revealed a third in our conversation. So I'm pretty much kind of banking that, like, I think Ice Punch would be his last move. But he could also be something else like Earthquake or something along those lines. But not really fearing right here. Kind of glad at the point that I'm at. I think I'm doing relatively well against a really solid competitor. But here I'm going to go into Starmie. Yeah, okay, he could have gone for Giga Drain, but I knew he was going for Synthesis, and he did say, he's like, oh, you're just going to be bold and just switch right in, not fearing a Grass move. I'm like, yep. Now he's right here. I'm going to reveal that I'm Specs. I believe I knocked it out regardless. He was in range, 68%, where the minimum roll for a Specs Psychic was a 78% to 93%. And he can't be super special defensive. He's just super special defensive. So I knock him out there. He's going to go into Jolteon's Quick Feet, so he's double his speed. Fuck that. Yeah, out of here. Going into Gligar on a T-Bolt or a Volt Switch. And then in order to scout out for an Ice move, Hidden Power Ice specifically, I am going to go into Melodic. Also racks up a little bit more toxic damage. But he goes, he's right here, he's going to go for HP Ice, kind of like I figured, and he's going to let toxic damage kind of rack up a little more. Now I'm going to go back into Gligar. This turn took me a while to kind of figure out. I was like, do I want to switch in? Do I want to stay? Do I want to fuck around with this and try and play some mind games with Nick? No, just going to go into Gligar. Even if he does go for HP Ice, minimum, if he's modest, right, it would have did 60 or 50% to 60% if he was no, minimum 60%, I believe, if he was HP Ice modest. But if he was timid, it was, I believe, 46 to 56%. So, gonna go for Flare Blitz. It does damage. That's definitely damage. But Gligar here just gonna roost up on that double, and then he's gonna go for it again. Gets the crit. That hurts, but doesn't kill, and it allows me to then now go roost up, get back to some solid HP, and I'm going to switch out. Going to go into Melodic, like I said, defensive plus Marvel Scale. That still does damage. He's going to now kill himself. So that means another threat has been taken care of. So all he has now is for Alligator and Jolteon. Jolteon, which is going to, progressively whittle himself down. We see the final move. Fuck. I did not want to see sub, and I thought Dragon Tail would like break it, but it's fucking Melodic with no attack investment. He right here is I'm going to go for Scald, thinking, well, it does break, but oh, man. I'm sure you guys are going to be able to kind of relate to this. You have days when nobody talks to you, no one bothers you on your phone, nobody calls you, no nothing. Well, this is not that day. Because in the course of this match, I had 4 different people call me. I had a coworker, a friend of mine, work, and someone else from work all call me. 3 of which need to dump their shit onto me and tell me about their day and what's bothering them and yada yada yada. And I don't remember asking. But then I had to split my attention between both. Like, I was trying to do this with, right here to play out our match with Nick, and then I was trying to listen to them. And at one point, this here, is where I fuck up, because I'm trying to talk to somebody, and then I do a stupid. I do a really big stupid. I let him get back behind another fucking sub. Right here, the purpose of turn 33 would have been get into Cobalion as he goes behind his sub, because that would have forced him to go for Waterfall. He couldn't D-dance again, because if he did, he could have knocked me out, but he would have been behind his sub. That was the whole purpose of this. But I get full parry on his sub, whereas I attempted to Scald. I'm going to switch out here right now into Cobalion. I pretty much, Nick thought that I was Scarf, so he thought that I would still outpace if I was Scarf, so he went for +3 as I break his sub. And with the close combat, so he's going to knock me out here with the Waterfall. And then right here is where then I super fuck up, because I'm still distracted. Blah, 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 blah. Oh man, I go into Tyrantrum. No, not the right play, because +3, he's under 25%, didn't even go through my mind. Could have went to Melodic. And I'll explain this once I'm done, but right here, he didn't realize it until after our match was over, but Melodic could have taken a +3 attack, which you'll see at the end. And, no, I go now through fucking rotating door of what mom wants to die. Nope, Tyrantrum, so that means I can't now reliably take out Jolteon. Gonna go to Starmie like an idiot, because now I can't take out fucking Skarmory reliably. Okay, so that's 2. Then I'm gonna go into Xatu, because fuck me, I'm an idiot, right? He's gonna go for Crunch, and there's the Colbert, doesn't matter. Then I go into Gligar, that's gonna die. And next turn. Then he goes into Melodic. See, like I said, +3, you can take that Crunch. I knock it out. Didn't even think about him subbing up, and I lose 2-0. Now I could have actually won, because before I go into that, I don't feel bad about how I played this entire match up until me being a dumb fuck. I am eliminated from the playoffs from this, but I'm not disappointed how I played against Nick. All right, I think that going up to the point where he had Melodic, or he had I went to Tyrantrum, right here this turn. So right here, instead of going to Tyrantrum, go to Melodic, right? So it's 5 versus 3, right? I go into the Melodic, I take the hit, he can't sub up again. Knock him out with the Scald, assuming I get fully parried. If I get fully parried, then it didn't matter. This point is moot. I would have still lost, all 3-0 at that point, but then what it came down to is Jolteon. Now I did some math myself. The math I did was that when Jolteon was at 59%, which it actually is at 59%, come in from Stealth Rocks down to 47% after 12% rock damage, right? Now, whether he T-bolted versus the Melodic that was currently in after knocking out the Feraligatr, or he went for T-bolt, which I predicted to go into Gligar, then he HP Ices, I can go back to the Melodic, etc., or he can just double T-bolt. That turns him down from 41% on the first turn, whether he predicted it or not. Then if I got a second prediction right, it's down to 29%, right? That pretty much ensures that we are, like, the Jolteon is gradually getting knocked down, which then means that if either Melodic or Gligar are dead, Tyrantrum comes in and goes for Dragon Claw or Head Smash, or Earthquake, but I would probably more or less go for Dragon Claw, the safe play, to knock out the Jolteon, because if he had HP Ice, guess what? It's dead, and I could live with the Yachi Berry. And, you know, the Dragon Claw was just sure KO because it's a fucking Jolteon. Then after that, all it really turns into is he has Skarmory. As long as I have Starmie plus Xatu, I won. So I could have turned this match from a 2-0 loss into a 3-0 victory. Still put me in the playoff race, but instead Nick now clinches his playoff hopes. So it's going to be he and Envy more likely, and George. So it's just the last spot that's going to be up between, well, at this point, Lars. Mono has it currently, but Lars, Dan, and John are still fighting for it. If John loses once more, Dan loses once more, they're out, which puts it only at Mono and Lars. I'd like to ruin both Mono and John's hopes. Don't get me wrong. Do I feel like quitting? No, because I'm only 7 losses in, and if you take away the minus 14 that I had from Envy, John, and Chris, not Chris, Envy, Lars, and John, my 0 and 3 minus and 14, I think I could have still been in this fucking race, and I'm actually, that part of the season is what pisses me off the most, because my team was just not adequate, and I think with this team that I currently have now, it is adequate. Maron. Okay. The point of this battle is that I played well. Up until this fucking turned 37, where I sent in Tyrantrum when I should have sent in Melodic. He couldn't sub again, obviously, but my brain was not thinking that. I was distracted. I'm an idiot. Whatever your fucking choice wants to be for why I blew it at this point, and I did blow it. Let's be honest. So, with that in mind, hope you guys enjoyed. Do you think I'm quitting these last 2 weeks? Haha, no. I kind of have something special planned for when I battle Chris, Mana, and John. It's going to be a rematch, and I want revenge. I want revenge, motherfucker. I want to ruin his playoff chances. I want to ruin Mono's playoff chances. I want to put the guy with Lando Eye in the playoffs again, to take on both Envy, who he's beaten, and to take on Nick again. So that's going to happen. And George, I already, I beat him, so suck it, George. But that being said, this is a long video. I'm going to put a timestamp in the description as to when you could switch the whole team breakdown. I'm sorry that I lost. I'm super dumb for doing such. This match was a fucking nightmare, and this kind of ruined how I felt about this week, just having to get everything done, and all our miscommunications and missed times we could have battled, and how long we had to wait to battle, and all these fucking problems when it came to this match. Again, I don't feel that bad about how I played. I think I played very adequately up again until this turn. Hope you guys understand. I know I'm going to get grilled for it, but again, I don't think I'm in as bad of a position as I was when the season started. Fuck Mega Aerodactyl, fuck Machamp, fuck Luxray, fuck Noivern. The acquisitions I made are very effective. And even though if the teams are kind of looking similar, they work, and I appreciate that they work. I could pass things. I could pass boosts. I could boost up with setup things like Cobalion or Sawk or Tyrantrum. I have Gligar, which is effective. I have Melodic, which is so much better than Jellicent. My team, yes, might have been inadequate, but this team I like a lot, and I enjoy how I'm playing at this current moment. So, that being said, I apologize I lost. I am a dumb, but we're not quitting, and I am gonna prep my ass off for Mono, and I'm gonna prep my ass off for John, because I want some goddamn revenge, and it's gonna happen. So watch out for that. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon, and I appreciate your feedback. Be nice, because I understand how bad I am, or how badly I played for the last 5 Mons. But talk to me in the comments. Let's have a conversation. And I'm not a quitter, and we will keep playing, and that's it. See you guys during week 11 against Mono. Bye.